So I love to learn. I'm always learning things all of the time. And I'm massively interested in psychology, right? So as a teacher and a businessman, it's all about how we think and how we relate to people. I study psychology. I love it. I think it's fantastic. And there's a psychologist called Carl Rogers. So check out Carl Rogers, especially if you're interested in positive psychology, which isn't all about being super happy. It's all about helping people to have happy lives where they thrive, right? Rather than kind of saying, what's wrong with me? It's more like, how can we get you into a good place? Or how can we have you to really thrive in your life? So anyway, he came up with this concept called unconditional positive regard. And I'm going to break it down what it actually means and tell you how I've applied it and how it works for clients and people I've worked with. What it means is when you work with people, they will try and push your buttons. You might be dealing with angry people, complaints, people being passive aggressive, all these horrible, well, what are you going to do about that? That kind of thing, right? And what unconditional positive regard is a way of you being resilient and saying, no matter how this person treats me, I am going to unconditionally treat them, regard them positively. I'm going to be kind towards them. I'm going to be friendly towards them. They're going to do all this, but that's on them. It's not me. And what I found is when you do that, when you're like that with people, the majority of people, they calm down. They realize it's like trying to fight a wall. And they're like, you never get anywhere with her. She's just so calm and she's so focused on just helping me out. I often feel quite embarrassed when if I shout at her. Right? This is some of the kind of feedback I've had from people. So it's a very empowering thing, because think about it. Nobody goes to work to get abused. Nobody goes to work to be shouted at. Nobody goes to work to have bad communications or to be made to feel bad. On some level, we're letting that happen, meaning the person does it and we're letting that affect us. Okay? If we have unconditional positive regard, it's a lot more proactive and it's a lot more resilient, because you're saying to yourself, no matter how that person treats me, I'm going to treat them well. Right? Because otherwise other people are in charge of you. I learned from my teaching days, if children try and push you and push you and push you, because they say, how's he going to react? How's he going to react? Is he going to shout? Is he going to get angry? But they're in control, aren't they? If you let them do that to you. If they realise they're not actually going to get anywhere, they soon get bored. And adults are the same. Sometimes adults can be worse. They really can. Now, I'm not being judgmental towards people. I'm saying people, for whatever reason, they go through things and they say, I'm going to shout at her. I'm going to have a go at him. I'm going to do this, right? So what I'm trying to say is in those moments when those people, for whatever reasons, are doing those things, you don't let it affect you. You say, well, if you're going to shout at me, that's okay. Well, no, I can't really talk to you right now. Maybe we could rearrange this phone call or for this meeting another time because you seem a bit upset. You are unconditionally positive regarding that person. And people say to me, yeah, but I've only got so much patience. Have you? Have you really? If you think you've only got so much patience, then you have. If you think, like I call it, a big unconditional bucket, and every time you take a scoop, it just magically refills, you will be able to just last that little bit longer. You really can. So I'd say, please don't put limits on how patient you think you can be. Please don't put limits on how positively you can regard somebody. It doesn't mean you need to like them. It doesn't mean you need to be their best friend. It means that no matter how they treat you, you are not going to be affected by that person. You're not going to let them. You have unconditional positive regard towards them, and you're trying to help them and move their position forward. And most of the time, 99% of people will respond very well to that. All right. So it's something, if you're customer facing, in sales, you're dealing with complaints, difficult people, use this unconditional positive regard. No matter what they say or what they do, I regard them positively. They can't hurt me.